The Baker administration took over. The county executive said that he wanted three things to happen. He wanted to make sure that we improved not only our reputation but our performance in the area of public safety, education, and ease of doing business with the county. We embarked on all of those things. One of the toughest things that we came across was, frankly, the reputation that the county had in the development community about how difficult it was to do business with us, to get permits and the like. Carla Reed is not here this evening, but we have to really give her a lot of credit for taking what the county executive said and turning it into a vision to have a one-stop shop for innovative, streamlined, timely permit processing. Carla and I had several conversations about this, about when it was the right time to do it. I guess probably a year and a half ago, she had been working with the development community, having regular meetings with them, and getting their input on what they thought the challenges were in the county that were keeping us from achieving our fullest potential. And she laid out a timeline that she and I went over a few times about the best way to get this new department to stand up. Once we got the timeline together, the really hard work began, and that was pulling together a team from across the government to do the difficult and necessary work to move people around, to create this beautiful facility that we have here, to put state-of-the-art equipment and technology in it, and to get the proper budget in place for it, and to get people to work together. Carla and Dr. Hijazi and I met several times and talked about some of the difficulties and challenges, frankly, with getting everybody and all of the departments and agencies within the government that were involved in this, as well as those outside of the government that are involved in our permitting process, to buy into this co-location concept, because it's something that a lot of folks have talked about, but there's never been the leadership and the vision and the commitment to getting it done to really get it done. And so I have to give first the credit to the county executive, and then Carla and Dr. Hijazi. And there are a number of people here, and if I started calling names, I'd get myself in trouble. But, the facility that you see here was rushed through. It doesn't look like it, and pushed through by our Office of Central Services, who's under Monica Johnson's leadership. And I see Floyd Holt looking at me here, and they were deeply involved in really getting that to happen. Our HR people had to work with Hytham in order to be able to separate, because while we were doing this, we were not only creating a new department, but we had to move people around. You heard Susan say she's moving from Public Works to DPIE, and there was a lot of that went on. So you had to make sure you had the right people in the right place to still make sure that when we took really three departments, our Department of Environmental Resources, Public Works and Transportation, and now Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement, and you left them all there, that they were all left with the right people. And trust me, it was a very, very intricate and difficult process that I had the pleasure of only participating in at a high level when they had an issue or a challenge that they thought that I could help them solve. So I have to say that of all the things that we've done here in the government so far, I think that this has been the greatest model of teamwork, collaboration, and commitment that county executive asked us to employ when we came into this administration. And I am so proud of all the people that work so diligently to get this done, and really look forward to what people will say about Prince George's County now, as we have probably the most state-of-the-art permitting, inspections, and enforcement function in the D.C. metro area.
And certainly I think every county executive has said that they would do something about permitting, that they would streamline it. Every county executive has said that they're committed to the environment and actually having a stand-up department that actually looked at how we become greener. Every county executive talked about, public works and transportation, and what a great job Dr. Hijazi is doing. And talked about how we work across silos, housing as other agency, as Brad said that. And then we get into office and we get busy. And it never happens. The beauty of this administration is occasionally I will think of stuff and I will say, hey, didn't I ever say I was going to do that permitting thing? Or worse yet, I'll actually visit another government, which I did in D.C., and I saw how beautifully they set up their one-stop shopping. And I said, why don't we do that? And I kept hearing, we're doing it. Carla would come to the meetings, I would ask, she said, no, we're doing it. And in the midst of all of that, we asked Adam Ortiz to go over to DER as the acting director. And we said, by the way, in addition to running this agency, we're going to ask you to participate in creating a brand new agency. And I think as someone who was brand new over there, who had a lot of things going on, and a lot of the administration asking of him, he did a fantastic job. Can we give him a round of applause, please? I will say this. Two last words. One is, or last statements. I have never seen Carla this excited about an issue or about a project, other than when she was cheerleading for Howard University. But she really got into it. And she made us all believe that this could be a model for the rest of the region. And I just think she's done a fantastic job. She had some great help. And she's a really good convincer because, she convinced Dr. Hijazi to take on this challenge when he could have actually turned us down. He could have comfortably stayed where he was and said, you know what, I got a great reputation. I don't want to roll the dice and put everything on the line. But he didn't do that. He accepted the challenge. And I think he deserves a round of applause for doing that, he and his staff. And, let me end with this. I want to thank the council for believing in us. And if you did not see the presentation that these folks did, Carla and Dr. Hijazi and Adam and who else was there with you in the panel? But it was just phenomenal before the council, which was skeptical that we could actually do this. But they did a great job. And I think this will go down like, our regional healthcare facility, which we're going to build, like transforming neighborhoods, as a signature program of this administration and this government that will outlive this administration, which is really what we aim to do with all of our programs. This is building the foundation for the future so that when people talk and think about Prince George's County, they think in a new and different way about how this county is growing and how great it is. With that, thank you very much. And Susan, I'll turn it back to you. Yes.
Since I know you're on a time schedule, and that's why I dragged you in here, but I'm going to keep you for one more minute because Hytham would like to take a point of personal privilege while the county executive is still here. We have a gentleman, and Hytham will bring him up so you all can see him, but we're not going to ask him to say anything. He has been an employee of Prince George's County for 49 years. Oh my God. He started his career in Prince George's, he stayed, and he has been in our Office of Highway Maintenance. There were no spaces in his employment. He never looked to go anyplace else. He remained in the Office of Highway Maintenance. And with that, I'd like to ask Hytham and Mr. Fletcher if you would come up.
All right, Mr. Fletcher.
So we can get a picture. And this is a proclamation that Council Chair Harrison had drawn up for you, and she could not be here. But if you all could hold this and have a picture, we would greatly appreciate it. And over there is his fiancée, Pandora, and his son, the young Mr. Fletcher. If you all could just stand up and be recognized.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we have his family come on up here for this picture? This is great.
And his boss would like to get in there too. Ms. Clark.
Let's go eyes right here. Here we go. Eyes right here. Here we go. Hold that pose. And several more like this. 59 years. I'll take another point of personal privilege. Just want to say hi real quick.
1 year after the department got established.
1 year, and isn't it fitting in this brand new building that Mr. Fletcher is here, and we're recognizing him. Wow. I want you to know I was 3 when you started. Wait.
Well, when I first started out here, things was not like it is now. See, we had to start from scratch to get the county rolling and doing good things. So when I came out there, I seen what was going on. I said, we got to do something about this because county is not going nowhere. We have to move it, get it rolling. And I would talk to the brothers and sisters on the job. I said, you know, we are not making no headway yet. We have to get things rolling, get the ball rolling, you know. We here to do the job. Let's do the job. They look at me and say, well, how are we going to do this? Get it together, get our heads together, start working together, discussing things and working things out here. They say, well, it's a big thing to do here. I said, we can do it. And we all started getting our heads together and started doing good things. And things started to grass it, grow up, grow up, and grow up. I said, see what I'm saying? We're getting the ball rolling because we working together on this. When I came in, everything was hard. It wasn't nothing easy. Now, y'all think I had an easy background, but I didn't. I went through all of it from the beginning. People look at me and say, man, how you do this? And I said, I keep the Father with me at all times because he lead me and guide me through this. He give me a job to do. I'm going to do this job. When I came here, things wasn't going where I wanted. People didn't like me. People hate me.
I feel the same way.
Didn't even want me to be here. I'm serious. Yes, they did. Told me to go back where I came from. I said, look, I got a job to do here. I said, you can say anything you want to say about me, but don't put the hand on me, you know. I have a job to do. I need y'all to work with me to get this together. So they said, man, let's see what he got to offer. I said, I got a whole lot to offer, but give me a chance to show you. When I give him the chance to show him, he said, man, where you get this from? Who teaching you? Who learning you? I said, my father and all of his sons and daughters. I'm learning from them because I'm picking up things that they was doing, you know. And I said, I'm going to get all of it. And they said, man, you got a big job on your hand. I said, we're going to get it together. And that's what we did.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Great work. We got this for you. Isn't that beautiful?
One more thing.
Oh.
The infamous jacket.
The infamous jacket. Here you go.
All right.
Not many people have these.
All right. Thank you.
This is yours. So you'll be warm in the winter.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Good evening. I want to say congratulations to all of you and to County Executive Baker and to Mr. Seaman, Chief Administrative Officer, and to our boss lady who's not here, Carla Reed. Please include her family member in your prayer, and it's very important to do that. I just want to say that Prince George's County and Executive Baker had made history in Prince George's County. This is a major, really, initiatives, a major task that was accomplished by all of you. I mean, especially the staff who are wearing those gray T-shirts which says DPIE, and also the PT2 team, and all the consultants team, and the permit specialists, and the developers who worked with us and BIA, who worked week after week to make this happen. Believe me, this was not a one person's effort. This was team's effort. It took a village, and this is the village. And this is really the first phase of your effort. This is the product of your effort. Susan gave me a script, and I really don't follow a script. Okay, she acts like a principal. She wants to bring me to the principal's office. As I said, it's really a major initiative. Mr. Seaman gave me a call almost the same time last year. I was also taking care of my parents overseas. Yes. I'm sorry. Mr. Seaman called the office looking for me almost same time last year, and he called Debbie Cooper and says, we need to talk to Hytham. Can you find him? Can you reach him? So Debbie Cooper called overseas and got me on the phone, got Mr. Seaman on the phone, and said, what can I do for you, sir? He said, well, we want to call you and let you know the county executive wants to establish one-stop shop, which is called DPIE, permits, inspection, and enforcement. And we want you to be the project leader to get this done. Can you do it? And he said, yes, sir. He said, well, I want you to do it by January 1st. I said, I'll try, but that's really a very difficult task to do. I mean, it's a major initiative. You're taking really staff and functions and money and budgets and resources from 9 agencies to make this happen. But, Mr. Seaman, we made it. Carla Reed, when she came in here as Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, and she was carrying the ball for Mr. County Executive, that we have to establish or take care of the permit process. As the County Executive told you, every administration in the history of this county tried to really work on improving the permit process. And all that they've done is the peripheries. And the closest to this is under the Wayne County administration, where they created an intake space on the 6th floor. But after that, still fragmented into 9 agencies. Also, we did go out and saw what is going on in other jurisdictions. All you have is an intake place, but after that's fragmented. What you have in here is really one-stop shop. So Ms. Reed, when she came on, she said she took, I would say, 37 requests from all the task force members, whether internal or external, and says we need to address them. And we had a team from all these offices and these departments to work on these items. And there was one item on that list that says, create a new department, DPIE, one-stop shop. So one afternoon after the meeting, we sat down together and she said, we want to get this done. What do you think? I said, it's doable. She said, when do you think we can get it done? I said, July 1st, 2014. We are here, July 1st, 2013. Congratulations, Mr. Seaman. The job is well done. And I want to recognize the team with the gray shirts. These are the folks, if you can really raise your hand, step forward. These are the folks who worked every week, day and night, on weekends, periodically to get this job done. I'm just telling you, it's not one person's show. It took really lots of teams' effort to put this together. We shared all of the, research and feedback step by step with our stakeholders from the outside. And we got your input to make this a success. As Ms. Reed says, it's not over. This is the beginning. People are coming to me and says, congratulations. Thank you, I appreciate that. But this is when the real work is going to start. Okay, this is the good stuff that you're going to see today. But coming Monday, July 1st, I'm going to get the headache. And Adam Ortiz keep telling me, you're on your own, buddy. I'm passing on to you. And everybody who sends him an email from 2 weeks ago, since Mr. Seaman, the county executive, announced that Hytham is going to be the acting director for DPIE, he's been really, joyful and say, if I get anything, I'm passing on to this guy. He can take care of you. Don't worry about it. You bet we'll take care of you. So Ms. Reed, when she came over and said to the team, we want to make sure that this is great department. And we want to make sure that the department you create is simple, predictable, and timely. STP. So I brought this in my pocket. So she gave every team member one of those bottles. And I can assure you, Mr. Seaman made sure we have in the budget enough money to purchase those for the staff. This is for lubrication to make sure that the system works and no problems. And also, I know Mr. Seaman's been hounding Ms. Reed and says, look, I'm tired of this nonsense. I need one neck to grab on ONG. And Mr. Seaman, you got your ONG. this is the person standing in front of you. Congratulations. So this is the one neck to grab. If you need anything, you can call on him. Certainly, this new department is a step forward in the history of this county. Again, it was really major work for all of the staff to make this happen. It's not just bringing staff and money and resources to put it together. We had to really embark on technology. The county executive, and Mr. Seaman and Ms. Reed, made it possible for us to put money in budgets to be able to purchase software so we can have an e-permit. So you would be able to do business with the county from your office. You don't need to come to Prince George County to do business. Right now, we have established 2 permits that you can do it from your home, from your office, submit that for the permit, get the permit reviewed, get the permit issued without even coming over here. And those 2 permits are the electrical permit and the special utility permit. Also, you can do online the put the application for building permits, because most of the applications are, I would say 70 to 80% are building permits. So we started with that, but that's the first phase. You're going to have the second phase coming, and you'll be proud of the second phase. However, as Ms. Reed said, don't stop over here. We need your input, your feedback, your commitment to make this a success. I can tell you, we're not going to be able to do it on our own. We need your help. We have been able to work with all of you and a team from inside and outside to establish e-plan review and submission, which is Project Docs. It's supposed to really help you out. What you see over here is going to be 1,000 times better than what we have, before. Even with this, just phase 1. When you get phase 2, it's going to be even much better. With the e-plan, you'll be able to submit all your plan electronically. You will have the review of the plans at the same time from all the reviewers throughout the county agencies, and then you're not going to see the finger pointing. You're not going to go back and forth between Largo, Abu Marlboro, Laurel, and Baltimore. You will really have the one-stop shop in place over here with the e-plan. You have our commitment that we're going to continue to improve on the e-permit. We're planning to establish a new software system for e-permit. We'll work with you on that, with the selection and the process that's going to be streamlined and much better than what you have. The agencies that participate in this is the Department of Environmental Resources, Public Works and Transportation, Health Department, Park and Planning, Fire Department, Soil Conservation Districts, and the Office of Law. We've had team members from all of these agencies who worked, as I said, around the clock to make this happen, and also from the business industry and consultants. OCS were also a true partner in this. They are the one who worked with their architect, Grimm & Parker, and Nordic Construction to make this place a reality and what you see. So this is a product, again, of collaboration between OCS and all the members who worked on those teams to make this happen and make it a reality. Again, all of you have really dedicated your time and commitment. I really appreciate all your effort. As the county exec said, we have 100 people or 105 people who really worked around the clock to make this happen. And I won't be able to mention them name by name otherwise. And if I stick to the script of Susan, I'll keep you here for another hour, and I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Please keep up the feedback to us. Thank you.
Carla was very excited about this, and because of that, she has invited 2 persons from the industry to come up and share comments. And also, Mr. Seaman, I may need your help afterwards because I had to move some of your DCAOs down there. They were having too much of a good time, so they were a little perturbed with me, so you may need to go talk to them. I'd like to ask Ken Dunn if he would come up. Ken is the Vice President and member of the Executive Committee for the Maryland National Capitol Building Industry Association, and they have been one of our primary partners in this effort. Ken?
Good evening. Hi. It's a little weird for me because typically when I come up here and do things like this, what I find is that I'm usually sitting in the audience and watching you guys speak rather than the other way around. In fact, I feel a little bit like I'm following Cal Ripken with the Orioles shortstop. I'm the next guy after him. Does anybody remember who he is? Because I sure don't. And Mr. Fletcher, that was very impressive. I think I've been somewhere for a long time, but certainly not that long. Very impressive. Anyway, I do appreciate the opportunity to say a few remarks here, and I only have a few, so I won't keep people very long. Excuse me? Very few. Very few. Thank you. Yes, they're very few. I've been admonished already. I just got started. So anyway, typically what I do is fly under the radar. That's sort of my thing. So up here, like I said, is a little bit different for me. I was initially called on this, and it just shocked me because I saw the lineup of people that were speaking. I thought, well, that's really impressive. The number of people that are working on this and that get to talk about this, and it struck me that they were going to be pretty impressive individuals, and I was right. I mean, Hytham and Carla and everybody else that I've had an opportunity to kind of visit with when we were working on some of these elements are some of the most dedicated public servants I've ever met. Hardworking individuals, and I know that they were working at the best interest of Prince George's County. So I'm really honored to be here with them tonight. And in fact, Hytham, I've got a set of plans over here that I need to have approved, so if you could... Anyway, I don't want to take up too much more time, but thankfully, the change to DPIE has been, from what I've seen, very substantial, and I did get an opportunity to work on it. I had an opportunity as the BIA representative to bring together a group of consulting engineers, professionals in the private sector, to take a look at the processes that DPIE was putting together. And what I saw was just a lot of hard work in there. And what they've really done here, and I don't want to be too strong about this, but to a certain extent, they've brought order where there wasn't some order before. If you'd taken a look at the process before DPIE, you'd be surprised at what you saw out there. It wasn't written down. There was a lot of information in people's heads, and there were a lot of people here that were pretty good. But DPIE has taken what was before, put it together in a process that's understandable, and provided predictability to the development community, which I think is a good goal to have. Predictability to the development community. That's such a good goal. So no more will I have the opportunity to answer to some of my clients how and when, because it's going to be there for them to see. It'll be much clearer. So having said all that, it's my belief that with DPIE we've reached the goal that we set out. We've brought clarity where it was less clear before, and that the development community can find that structure now exists within the process flowchart that we have. It was a worthy goal. I'm very proud to have been part of it. And I'm very proud to have been here in Prince George's County while we were doing it. I think that this system will be the envy of the state of Maryland. Thank you very much, Hytham. I'll look for those plans on Monday.
Before I introduce the next speaker, who will be equally as quick, right? I wanted to thank everybody for coming. I know that we did that at the beginning. We got a little convoluted. Rather than making introductions, because there are so many important folks here, we have department heads, we have the county attorney, we have many leaders in business, presidents of companies, and other politicians. We just really wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for coming, and especially to our staff who, as Hytham said, put in so much time and effort in this endeavor. I'd like to introduce to you Tom Aylward. Tom is the Vice President of Development for Jackson Shaw and a very active member of our PT2 group. Tom?
Thank you. Let's see how quick I can do this. Let's see, I started in the county in 1981 with my first permit. So let's do each year one at a time. I've worn several hats over the years. Started as an architect, and then a few years back started in the development side of things. So my interactions with all of the departments that we've heard about tonight have been varied in good experiences and bad experiences over the last 32 years or something like that. So what is DPIE? I participated in some of the formulation of it. DPIE is the first time that I experienced the county government asking the community, and I'm talking about the developers, the architects, the engineers, the citizens, how can we do this better? And they listened, and it was great fun. It was probably 8-9 months of occasional meetings, and I think tremendous things are coming out of it. And the new facility, the physical environment, is important for not just the customers, but for the people who have to work here day in and day out. I think that's important. But what happens behind the scenes that you don't see in the new paint and the new furniture is the streamlining and the connectivity. And that's where the promise of DPIE is. And as we all roll up our sleeves, and as we've heard, just keep looking and listening and making positive comments. And, you know, you can say we need to fix this without being negative. DPIE will take off, especially with Hytham there to listen and say, okay, we can tweak that, because it needs to be fine-tuned now. But I say take it and run with it. It's a great opportunity.
Before I ask Mr. Seaman to come up and give closing comments on the county's behalf and on the county executive's behalf, I wanted to tell you that there will be a demonstration of the new E-Plan project docs on the other side, and anyone in the gray shirts will be able to point you in the right direction. There is still food out there and drink. As you know, this is a government facility, so we don't have anything heavier than what we have out there, but it is there for your enjoyment. Also, on this brochure, rather, on the back, is a map, a floor plan of the entire floor. Oh, it's upside down. Okay. A floor plan of the entire area, so you can do a self-walk as well. Okay, Mr. Seaman? Because I know I'm not going.
Thank you, Susan. As I close this out, I do just want to tell you two quick stories that I think are really, really important. The first one is that I went to a business roundtable meeting probably a year ago now, maybe a little bit more than that, about a year and a half ago. And I won't call off any names, and I don't see any individuals. I don't see the individual in here tonight, but I wish he was here. But during the meeting, they launched into talking about the county's permitting processes, and so I spoke up and said that I promised that we were going to fix it, and that's exactly what I said. And what this particular individual did was he said, I'll believe it when I see it, because the county government has been saying that for years. I said, okay, fine. And then when the session was over, went out in the hallway, and another person grabbed a hold of me, almost literally, and ran me up one side of the wall and down the other about how bad the county's permitting processes were, how it was holding up their project. It was so bad that Jim Estep, who runs the Business Roundtable, kind of came over to kind of ask me, are you okay? And I said, no, it's fine. I mean, this is part of my job, to listen and then to make sure that we get things done. And I think that experience really provided my motivation for helping to see that this got done. The last story I wanted to tell you was we talked about getting people to work together. And it hasn't been difficult to do that in this administration. I think that everybody knows that Mr. Baker is one who's well-liked and really, with his smile and his way of not taking no for an answer, really gets people to work together. So it really hasn't been difficult to do that. But this particular project was, breaking out years of the way things have been done. So I remember sitting in a meeting with Hytham and Carla and someone else who will go nameless that we were trying to convince to co-locate here. And the two gentlemen, they were very polite, but they gave us great reasons why it just wasn't a good idea for them to do that. And, when after the meeting was over, I said to myself, this is really going to be difficult, because people really have good reasons why this might not be a good thing to do. And Hytham told me, don't worry about it. It's probably about 2 or 3 weeks later, we had an update meeting. I was with Hytham and Carla, and he put a letter in front of me from this particular agency that said that they were going to dedicate a couple of people to the project. And I looked at him and I said, well, how did you do that? And he just smiled. And so, it was that kind of stick-to-itiveness and never taking no for an answer that I think has led us to be here today. And I'll close by saying, when I drive in and out of D.C., I count the number of cranes that you see going down New York Avenue. And as of today, there's 15 cranes that you can see when you drive down New York Avenue. So I think that we have just taken away one more reason why we can't see maybe not 15 cranes at one time or from one place, but why we can't see that kind of development happen here in Prince George's County. It is the premier place in the Washington, D.C. region to develop. We have more available land at lower costs, and now we have a high-quality, high-performing government operation to support that. So for all of you in the development community that are in the room, I look forward to you coming here and getting service by this particular agency, and again to all of the county employees that were involved in this, all the people in the gray shirts, the department heads that are here, and the ones who Hytham gave a hard time and badgered you into doing things. We appreciate it and look forward to more successes in the future. Thank you.